Hey, what's up, everybody? Really sorry about being late. Very busy day. Very, very busy day, but also a very good day. We'll get started in a moment. Welcome to 5th Avenue. We're here on the corner of East 55th Street. We're by the Peninsula Hotel, and we are by the St. Regis. Now, for whatever reason, the city is really, really busy today. It's been crazy. Traffic, pedestrian traffic. You can see, 5th Avenue's backed up all the way to the Upper East Side, and it's pretty late out, so. Anyway, we'll get started in a minute. I'm sure everybody knows we're going to be talking about Meta today, Monster Quarter, and also our good friends at Microsoft. Monster Quarter, a little bit of a weak guidance, I would say a weak guide, but we'll talk about that, we'll talk about why. Wow, Alan's Reddit did great today too. I didn't have enough time to take a look at it, and I think Robinhood also reported earnings today. I didn't have time at all to take a look at that. At least I think they reported earnings today. So anyway, we'll get into it. We'll figure it out. Peter says Happy Halloween Eve to all. That's correct. Tomorrow is Halloween. So happy Halloween to everybody. Very fun holiday, but just a reminder to be safe out there, especially if you have young kiddos and the like. Now this building here, just before we get started, it's adjacent to the University Club, which is an amazing, amazing place here in New York. This is the Mandarin Oriental Residences. It's that really beautiful looking building right there, brand new. And it has the Coach store in the basement for the retail. JC is here, Dave. What's up, JC? You know what, let's give you guys a little bit of a peek inside the University Club. You can kind of see all those, moldings on the ceiling. Very similar and very, very reminiscent of the Morgan Library. I'm not sure if anybody here has ever visited the Morgan Library in New York. If you haven't, you've got to do it. It's such a beautiful place. Tons of history. Tons of Wall Street history, too. Speaking of JP Morgan, I see NBA Elias, Water Blazing. Hey, long time no see. I haven't seen you in a really, really long time. Hopefully you and the family are well. Thanks for joining us here tonight. But before we get started, everybody, we'll just do the quick audio and visual check. If you guys can hear us, and if we are streaming in 1080p, just go ahead and give a thumbs up in the chat, and we'll get started here in a moment. It's kind of wild you already have the Christmas lights up on the Coach store the day before Halloween. Once again, look at how beautiful this building is. This is the brand new Mandarin Oriental Residences right on 5th Avenue. They also have rentals, I think, for a studio apartment. But again, you get all the amenities of the Mandarin Oriental. I think a studio they're renting for like $11,000, $10,000 a month. But I guess the selling point is all the amenities. You can kind of see the Mandarin flag right here. Crispy says Robinhood is allowing you to bet on the presidency. I saw that. That's huge. Is anyone here betting on the presidency, by the way? Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Walks in Wall Street. Welcome back to New York City. Once again, really apologize for being late again tonight. It's just been very busy. The moment that it seems like things are going to kind of calm down, you get inundated with a bunch of emails, phone calls. Everybody you've been chasing around all day decides to get back to you. We're right outside 685 5th. Once again, this is the Mandarin Oriental Residences. Pretty cool. It's, tucked away right off of 5th. I really like the facade of this building. What do you guys think? I think the front door is really, really unique. Very cool. I like how they didn't make it, the glass facade. They have brick and mortar. It just looks very luxurious. Looks very presidential, you could say. Today we are going to be talking about Meta, ticker symbol META, our good friend Mark Zuckerberg. And we are also going to be talking about the one and only Microsoft. Now, as a quick review, this week has been dominated and will continue to be dominated by the Magnificent Seven companies, or the Mag 7 stocks, all the big tech stocks in the United States. Yesterday, we had Alphabet, or Google, report earnings, absolutely crushed. They beat on both the top and the bottom line, and pretty much all of the key business metrics came in higher than expectations. You had the Google Cloud revenue coming in higher than expectations. You had Google Search revenue coming in much higher than expectations. And now that brings us to today. Another thing I'd like to add, it's all well and good that revenues are coming in much better than expected, but also profits. Profitability at Alphabet last quarter on a year-over-year basis was up double digits. This is the University Club. Beautiful, beautiful facade. But today, Meta and Microsoft both had net income, right, which is profits. A lot of the times people like to talk about EBITDA, but I'm kind of a person who mainly focuses on net income. You could consider my thought process like Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, and specifically Charlie Munger when he says, EBITDA is BS earnings. I like to focus on the net income. But 35%, my friends, I'll try to give you one more look inside the University Club. But guys, 35% profit increase at Meta on a year-over-year basis. Okay, corporate America, specifically the Mag 7 mega cap tech stocks, are doing absolutely phenomenal. 35% net income increase for our friend Zuckerberg. Now, to put that in dollar terms, Meta over the last 3 months made $15.7 billion, up 35% year over year. Now, Microsoft, their earnings, or I should say net income, was up 11% year over year, $24.67 billion. Those are massive numbers. Those are numbers so big you can't really even wrap your head around it. So as you hear all the doom and gloom in the media, right, as we have all of the, how should I say this, uncertainty surrounding the U.S. presidential election, this is another reminder to focus on the earnings, focus on the fundamentals, because there are great American companies right now that are churning out ungodly profits, or as I like to call it, cartoonishly ridiculous profits. So we'll do a deep dive into the earnings reports today, but first I'll say hello to everybody in the audience, and then we'll also give a little bit of a preface for what's to come tomorrow, because tomorrow is Thursday. Yes, it is Halloween, but we are going to hear from Andy Jassy at Amazon.com, and then I believe we're going to hear from Apple, so we'll hear from Tim Cook tomorrow as well. Oh Wise Owl is here. Cheers, JC. What's going on? Ike Voorhees is here as well. What's up, Ike? Thanks for joining us. Reggie, cheers. RB, RJ from Colorado. I see Paul Yost. Paul, hope everything is going well with you. I see Boone. It says, hey Tom, good to see you again. Greetings as always from Berlin, Germany. Thank you so much. Alan, thanks for joining us. Emron, Middle Class Grind. This is a cool shot of 53 West 53rd Street. Andre Almar says, hey Tom, I'm going to be in New York City next month and can't wait. Well, welcome to New York. And if you're here, let me know. Now, this mansion is for sale. Douglas Elliman is the broker. Could you imagine coming off of Fifth Avenue, walking up the stairs, and this is your house? I mean, look at how cool that is, guys. Obviously, they have the sign, no trespassing private property. But imagine this is your house. Oh yeah, I'm just casually walking off of Fifth Avenue and going up the stoop to my house with this beautiful interior, amazing moldings. I mean, it probably needs a little bit of work, but this is like original stuff. Beautiful spiral staircase. I mean, some of these homes, these original mansions, townhomes in New York City, it's priceless, I think. I mean, I would even consider this priceless. So check it out. Really stunning. Architecture's beautiful. You'll probably have to do some work on the moldings on the inside, but stunning. Out and about says there must be an elevator. You know, it's a good question, but I'm not sure. I'll tell you a funny story about some of the townhomes in New York City, particularly on the Upper West Side and the Upper East Side. Man, look at this place. This is a restaurant, but just the architectural details, quite stunning. Now, it depends on a few factors. If you're even allowed to put an elevator, if it's a historic building, sometimes you're not allowed to. You need to get specific approvals. But I'm sure, you know, whoever's going to buy that, they're probably going to make it exactly what they want. They're going to make it custom, so to speak. So it'll probably be a total gut, whoever buys that. And they'll make it, you know, exactly to their liking. You never know. I believe Carlos Slim, who is the Mexican telecom billionaire, either had a really nice listing on the Upper East Side, or it's currently on the market. I don't know if it's sold or not, but he had a really nice place on the Upper East Side. Hey, Michelle K, thanks for joining. I see DC322. Gord, welcome. Professor Dario, Lena Sandoval. Alan says, isn't that the firm I work for? It is. Element is the brokerage I work for. I've never previewed that unit though. Maybe I will. Maybe that'd be a good video. I'll reach out to the listing broker and maybe I'll be able to do a video throughout the entire mansion and post it. We'll see. Oh guys, you know what's something else we need to talk about tonight? Super microcomputer, ticker symbol SMCI. Now, I'm not sure if anyone heard the news. This is a little bit of breaking news. The accounting firm EY, Ernst & Young, officially made a statement that they're not going to be working with the company and doing any auditing for the company. It's a huge red flag. This is probably going to be a massive scandal. This is probably going to be a huge fraud. Now, the problem is, oh, by the way, this Korean restaurant, Nari, it's relatively new. I think it opened about 2 months ago. I just went here for dinner last night, and it's okay. It's decent. It's pretty expensive. I wouldn't say it's the best Korean restaurant I've been to, but it's okay. I think there's still better Korean restaurants a little bit further downtown. I'd say, you know, Take 31 and Her Name is Han are probably my two favorite, but if you're in Midtown Manhattan and you're looking for a Korean place, you can check this out. WS Bro 93 says the AI bubble is starting to crack. You know, to your point, if you guys want to follow me on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, you could follow us at Walks Wall Street on X. And I made a post all the way back in July. I think this was July 23rd. And this was when SMCI was really blowing off. You can consider it like maybe like a euphoric kind of blow off top, so to speak. And I made a post on X and I said, look, this thing is being distributed massively by major players. And I said it's probably going to drop significantly in price. And I came back to the tweet today because I heard the EY news, and the stock is down, I think, 70% since I posted that. Go ahead and check out that tweet. And the reason why I bring that up is not to say, see, I told you so. It's to say that oftentimes, oftentimes price action in a stock is a leading indicator in and of itself. And if you look at the volume and you look at how stocks trade, you can easily identify if the stock is under accumulation or if it's being distributed by large institutions. And by and large, this stock, SMCI, after it had its major blow-off back in July, was being absolutely dumped by a lot of institutions on the street. And that's the smart money on Wall Street. And they knew something was up. And fast forward about 6 months later, it looks like it's going to be a big accounting scandal over at SMCI. So we'll see. So go over to my X page, follow at Walks Wall Street on X, and it's the last thing I retweeted. Peters' SMCI was down 33% today. EY left because of poor governance and bad financial statements. If you have an accounting firm of that size come out and issue a statement, or come out and feel the need as if they need to issue a massive statement like that, this is going to be a big problem. Now, secondly, this is something I wanted to ask the audience and get your opinion on. I believe SMCI is NVIDIA's third or fourth largest customer. Could someone confirm or deny that? Maybe someone could, Google that or just do a quick Perplexity AI search. Yeah, hang with Mark Mom, says Tom, for EY to say that. Definitely watch out. Stephen Bates says insiders with SMCI got rich, massive corruption. Well, we'll see what happens when all the details and all the information come out. But it's just so fascinating that the stock price was predicting this about 6 or 7 months ago. Hey, Jonathan from Florida. This is Tom. When are you coming back to Florida? I would say most likely, to be honest, after Thanksgiving. Brad's Brains says GDP missed today, Meta missed today. Well, Meta didn't miss today. I think Meta crushed. Hood missed today, SMCI shakeout. Tomorrow isn't feeling very positive right now. Well, I think SMCI is going to be, it could potentially turn out to be some sort of fraud. But Brad, if you're just joining, go look at what I just tweeted, because we were talking about this massive distribution pattern on SMCI back in July, and it looks like smart money knew something was severely wrong with this. But in terms of the two companies that reported earnings today, which is Microsoft and Meta, I thought those two earnings reports were absolutely fantastic. I mean, if you talk about profitability, specifically at Meta, Meta's net income grew 35%. $15.7 billion they made in profits. That's up 35% year over year for Meta. Now, they did miss on their user growth. In terms of daily active users, I think that was the main area that they missed. But advertising revenue went up, and went up quite significantly too. And going into a holiday season signals to me that probably consumer spending is going to continue to be strong. I believe advertising revenue at Meta was up about 18.7%, coming in at $39.9 billion. So advertisers are still spending. If it was such a gloom and doom economy, advertisers would be cutting back and you'd be seeing massive reduction in ad spend. It's up almost 20% year over year at Meta, right? $39.9 billion, almost $40 billion in ad spend just over the last 3 months. So to me, it's quite optimistic. Hang with Mark Mom says, in my work with EY since the 90s, we heavily rely on them for accuracy as an analyst. If they feel they must resign, no way can anyone do business with them. Yeah, I think, behind closed doors, anyone who's been working on SMCI at EY, it's probably a massive fire drill going on there. We'll see. Alan says Reddit revenue increased 68% year over year to 348.4 million. Advertising revenue increased 56% year over year to 315.1 million. Now, I think I said this last night. I think it was Brad who brought up Reddit last night. I honestly had no idea the business of Reddit was that big. Did anybody else? I was totally ignorant to the fact, like absolutely ignorant. I don't even know how Reddit makes money. I think I said, are they just a big advertising shop? Are they a big ad business? Because every time I go on Reddit, and I'd say I'm a decent user of Reddit, like for forums and things like that, mainly for like, if you're like a software engineer, you've probably heard of Stack Overflow. Sometimes I use Reddit. Anyway, but damn, I mean, just think about how big the world is if you can have Reddit doing $315 million a quarter in advertising revenue. I mean, the sky really is the limit. That's crazy. And I've never seen one advertisement on Reddit ever since I've been using the platform. What's up, Troy Atman? Cheers. Yeah, Troy says it's just a sloppy message board, in my opinion. BMST Group says Kava is very expensive. $13 to $50 for Bowls money grab. Well, that's pretty much everything. I mean, it's in line with pretty much everything. MBA Elias says, Tom, SMCI is NVIDIA's third largest customer. Yeah, that's the concern, right? Because, in every single bull cycle, you always have the saying, so goes this stock, so goes the market. In this market with, AI, data center, it's so goes NVIDIA, so goes the market. And if there's something massive here with SMCI and they're NVIDIA's third largest customer, that's some red flags, that's some warning signs there. Now, to take the other side, and we're going to do a compare and contrast tonight. We don't want to do all bearish news, all bullish news. We kind of want to, find common ground in the middle. Here's what I'd say about that, okay? We just talked about, I should say, record profitability at Meta for the quarter, right? Net income was up 35% for the year. But if you listen to the earnings call, Zuckerberg said specifically, and I think this is actually one of the reasons why the stock was down after hours. I think Meta is down like 7% after hours, something like that. I mean, you guys could Google it. I'm not too sure, but I think it's down like 5 to 7% after hours. And what I believe sent the stock down was the guidance for spending, specifically for AI and data center. Did you guys see what Zuckerberg said? It almost as if he came off a little bit surprised that they're going to have to spend that much money, which is potentially, some people would say, that's going to cut into profits for next year. That's concerning me. But if you think about, the growth drivers of AI and data center, it's all of these chip companies, and Meta is a significant customer of NVIDIA. So if they're saying that they're going to have to spend more money, well, that's positive for NVIDIA, but that's positive for all these chip companies. So I think there's negatives and positives we could take from all of the news we got out today. But what's your guys' take on that? Anybody have any other takes, like additional takes? Reggie 44 says big time spending for sure. Brad's Brain says yes, Meta is not reacting well after hours. Hey, what's up, Doc7? This is the Russian tea room right now, and we are also outside of 157 West 57th Street. Hey, New England Crypto, cheers. Thanks for joining us. You know what's funny about New York City? Every time I walk through Times Square on a Friday night, like when it's very busy in Times Square, I like to take you guys through there because, you know, it's kind of cool for people who are not New Yorkers to kind of see Times Square when it's really busy. But I always get a kick out of when the drivers are hammering on their horns and they look all, you know, disgruntled and all upset and surprised. But I'm like, dude, what did you expect? Like, what did you expect? It's a Friday night in New York City and you're driving directly through Times Square. Did you expect like traffic to be like free flowing? Like what was your expectations going into this? Like, come on, it's ridiculous. Friday night, New York City, you're driving right through the belly of the beast. What did you think it's gonna be like country roads? Like, come on, pal, it's ridiculous. All right, let's quickly cross to the north because I don't remember the last time I took you guys to Alwyn Court. And I want to show you guys Alwyn Court before we head back downtown. This is a cool shot of 57th Street and 432 Park. NBA Elias Meta says Reality Labs operating losses and thus expects significant capital expenditures growth in 2025. I think Reality Labs lost what, like over $2 billion this quarter? Now the crazy thing is this, right? Meta is so profitable. Like, I want everyone to really conceptualize this. Meta as a company is such a cash cow that they are able and willing to lose billions of dollars a quarter on Reality Labs, and it doesn't even affect them. Like, it doesn't even move the needle. Like, that's what's so crazy, and that's why, you know, I keep trying to hammer home every night on these streams. These massive tech companies are so powerful. People just don't understand, right? You got to look at these numbers. I mean, these numbers are ridiculous. Every 3 months, Meta's ringing the register and making $15 billion. It's absolutely insane. And they have so much money, they have the ability just to lose a ton of money on, you know, Reality Labs. Anyway, this is Alwyn Court, 180 West 58th Street. Kaka Silva, thank you so much for your 20 Norwegian kroner. This is Tom, is options trading gambling? No. It's gambling for most people. And the reason why it's gambling for most people is because I really think platforms like Robinhood, which actually reported earnings today, they've really gamified investing. And so people will go on, they'll, you know, put $500 to $1,000 in a Robinhood options trading account, and they'll buy like cheapy, ridiculous, you know, 24-hour expiration or week expiration options, and they use them as like lotto tickets, right? And they don't understand how options are priced. They don't understand delta. They don't understand volatility. They don't understand time decay. Like, they don't understand how derivatives are priced, right? Now, you don't need to be like a PhD in math and know like how to calculate Black-Scholes and all this, but you should really understand the basics before you get into the options market, you should understand how institutions, market makers price derivatives, right? You should know what goes into it, right? And when you know that, you probably wouldn't buy even weekly options, and you certainly wouldn't buy daily options, right? Most options expire worthless, and most people are buying extremely, extremely out of the money options, and they're taking one-way directional bets. So they're almost guaranteeing themselves a loss. Look at this. This is 157 Steinway Tower and the beautiful Alwyn Court right here. Such an amazing building. Now here's the thing, right? When you're buying, and maybe we could do a whole series on options and derivatives on our second channel, like where I could be behind the desk and kind of explain things. But when most people, they buy options, right? They're going to buy a super, super far out of the money call option. And when the stock moves, they're like, oh my God, the stock is going up, but how come my options aren't moving? Well, the further out of the money, right? Generally speaking, the further out of the money you buy, the lower the delta. So a delta is essentially the percentage basis or the dollar for dollar move in the stock as it relates to the option. So if you're buying something super, super deep in the money, it's probably going to have a delta of 90 or very close to 100. But if you're buying something super, super far out of the money, you're going to have like a delta of 20 or a delta of like 15. So it's not going to move. The option's not going to move unless the stock makes a massive, massive move. So anytime that I trade options, which is almost never, right, I mainly use options to hedge a position that I'm in. But if I'm going to speculate and take a directional position in the options market, usually I'm going to buy a very, very deep in the money option because the deltas are fat. And if I have an option with a delta of 90 and a stock moves a dollar, well, I'm almost going to get a dollar for dollar move in the stock and my option. And I like to buy myself duration, right? But most people think, oh my gosh, if you're buying super deep in the money options and if you're buying, a year out or leaps or something like that, it's too expensive, it's not worth it, and they don't buy it. But you get what you pay for in the options market, right? Time decay is a significant factor. And the longer you have, the longer duration of the option you have, the less likely time decay is going to affect you. I think about 80% of the option's time value is sucked out in the last week or so of the option. So you can think about it like it tails off like this, right? So if you're buying daily options, you're almost guaranteed to lose money. Hey, Mr. G-Man, what's up? Good to see you. Mark Francis 076. What's going on? Says I don't buy options because I don't really understand them, and I've lost a lot of money, so I stay away. That's fair, and I think that's a very rational thought. John says I find option fees pretty expensive as well. You need to buy spreads if you're doing short-term trades. And, options are also priced based upon volatility. So if you have a really big spike in the VIX, this is why, using a put-to-call ratio or something like that is very useful oftentimes, because you can tell when the vast majority of people are buying put options or betting the market's going to go down. So in 2020, if you go back and look at, put-to-call ratio, you had the put-to-call ratio go to Mars, and that corroborated with a huge spike in the VIX. And what that means is everybody is buying puts just at the exact time when they're super, super expensive, right? Because if the market is in free fall, right? Let's say if the S&P 500 is down 30% in 2 weeks like it was during COVID, The market makers are not stupid, right? They're not going to give you this stuff for free. So they're going to jack the price of the premium. It's insurance, right? So the higher the probability and the higher the fear in the market, the market makers are going to price that option accordingly. That's why oftentimes when the market is trending, right, hitting new all-time record highs, volatility is really low, that's actually probably a good time if you're still bullish on the market. Maybe you can price out some put options to hold as insurance so you could endure the volatility, right? Because puts are going to be really, really cheap. But once the market starts to unwind and really, really accelerate to the downside, those options are going to be twice as expensive. So there's a lot of things that go into options, and I think that if you're going to get into trading options, you should first fundamentally understand how derivatives are priced. That's like the most important thing. Hey, what's up, Terry? From Buffalo, New York, if I'm not mistaken. Good to see you. We'll just do one lap around the circle and then we'll head back into Midtown Manhattan. I just wanted to come up and say hello to our good friends over at 15 Central Park West. Nostalgia says, hey Tom, I smoked a pre-roll there. Fantastic. Congratulations. Love that. Check the logic. Good to see you. Wise Alice says, I rarely make a trade, buy and hold unless something crazy. Brad's Brain says, whoa, lose value in the last week. That's too close. I'd say last month to 2 months. I wouldn't buy anything a couple months out. I like 9 months to even a year. You must have time value to gain money, for sure. Yeah, so like if you're taking like a big bullish position, which I think I may start to do, price out a position on Tesla, I'd probably get in the leaps, like buy leaps. But things are very expensive. I always like to look at our congestion pricing right here. And I can't believe we spent all this money to put the congestion pricing stuff up and we don't even use it. It's so crazy. Anyway, welcome to Columbus Circle. Hey, what's up, Arlo? Says, hey, Tom, good evening, enjoying your show. Thank you so much for being here. Madison32 says, some time ago I had 5 call contracts on MTH. Got lucky and made 3,200. Very cool. Troy Atman, I would say we should be on for Halloween tomorrow. That's one of my favorite live streams of the year. We will be live from Washington Square Park. I would say if you haven't been to New York City during Halloween, you really should at least once in your life. It's very, very fun. And I'm not a big Halloween guy, but just the energy in the city and, seeing everybody dressed up, it's very, very fun time. It's a very, very fun time. So we will be live tomorrow from Washington Square Park. I also believe there's going to be some sort of Halloween parade too. And again, I'm not a huge Halloween crazy, but I love Halloween in New York City. It's just unlike anything you've ever experienced. It is so fun, man. You guys will see it tomorrow on the stream. It's one of my favorite streams of the year. I would say I have 3 favorite streams every year. Halloween is probably number 1 or number 2. It's a close... You know what? It's tied for the pre-Thanksgiving Day stream. So if you're new here, the day before Thanksgiving, we do a really, really late night stream and we watch the what is it called, guys? The rehearsal for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It's like at 11 o'clock at night, right outside Macy's. And we see them putting up all of the, the bleachers, I guess? And then they're doing a little bit of show, rehearsal. That's a fun stream, too. So, anyway, Trump International Hotel and the beautiful 15 Central Park West. Oh, wow, Kaka Silva, thank you so much for your generous donation. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support. But yeah, once I get this second channel off the ground, I think it's going to be a little bit better placement and a little bit better environment to kind of do these. I guess I wouldn't really want to say tutorials, but I think it does help. You know, maybe we could have, like, I could film like an investing series and just put it up on a YouTube channel and categorize it under a specific chapter, I think they call them. So maybe like basic investing 101, so people can go and watch those videos for free and just, you know, take notes. Then we could do like an option series, more of an educational, not as like an investment. Look at this Cybertruck. Love this Cybertruck here. Matte red. Crazy. But we can just do like the basics of options pricing. Maybe we could even do like a Wall Street video series, like understanding what an investment bank does, kind of like a college course, but free so people can go back and watch it. What's the difference between the hedge fund business and the private equity business? What are some of the structures of major hedge funds? Which hedge funds should you guys be like paying close attention to? How did hedge funds start? You know, the history, you know, the difference between OPM, family office, things like that. I think it'd be pretty interesting. All right, I just want to take one peek at 15 Central Park West and head down. Oh, the Cybertruck is pulling out. Dang, we could have saw who owns the matte red Cybertruck. You'll see it making a left on Central Park West in just a moment. But this is a cool view of 432 Park from here. Hey, what's up, Sam? I just love 15 Central Park West. I think it's such an elegant building. Yeah, the Cybertruck pulled out, and now this car is pulling in. I'm assuming they probably know each other because that Cybertruck is always in the same spot every night. Oh, here's the... Wow, so quiet. Crazy, right? It's like so... That's one of the things I like about EVs. It's like so silent, super quiet. Anyway, let's start to head back downtown.
I guess, yeah. You know, it's
just a quick announcement tomorrow, everybody. We're going to be sending out our Behind the Street newsletter, which is our free investing newsletter. We send out every other Thursday. If you want to receive all of our equity research for free, you can just type !news, NEWS in the chat, and the Nightbot will drop the link to our Substack. So go ahead and check it out. Jafet Perez says, do I think BTC will hit 100,000 this year? I actually have a price target, and I gave it to everybody in the newsletter. The most recent newsletter I wrote. But it is quite interesting what we're seeing with the price action in Bitcoin. Briefly, yesterday we made a run. I think we were over 73,000 for a brief maybe hour or two in the trading day. We've come down some, but today we just hit a new all-time record high for gold again. So gold is ramping, Bitcoin is ramping. I think silver is going to start to get a move on here. This has been a fantastic year, an unbelievable year for gold investors. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. Hey, Stein is here. Thanks for joining. Brad's Brains is I'm long Palantir. We will see Monday. Stock price seems to be dictating a miss. Now, I usually don't put a lot of weighting on insider selling, but didn't the CEO just recently sell quite a bit of Palantir stock? This guy got a nice snag on this cab. Hey Terry, thanks for joining tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. We will be on time tomorrow, by the way. I've been late in doing the broadcast the last two nights, so for that I do apologize, but now, for me, I think if we get a pullback here right into election day, I would welcome that because earnings season is coming pretty good. Obviously today, Meta and Microsoft both absolutely crushing it. Speaking of Microsoft, I think it's important we talk about the cloud computing unit because yesterday Alphabet reported and we talked about Google Cloud, and Google Cloud exceeded expectations on their Google Cloud unit revenue estimates. And today, Microsoft, Azure, and the like, well, the line item on their financial report is the intelligent cloud, which includes Azure, and that was up 20% year over year. That's a massive number. So cloud computing over at Microsoft, ticker symbol MSFT, was up 20% year over year to $24.09 billion. That's a massive number. Massive, massive number. And they beat both on the top and the bottom line. So EPS came in at $3.30. Analysts were expecting $3.10. And they also beat on revenue too. $65.59 billion versus the $64.5 billion expected. And obviously, as we talk about profitability, profits were up 11% year over year to $24.67 billion. Pretty impressive. So demand is still there for cloud computing, AI, as we saw in both Alphabet and Microsoft today, which leads me to believe when we hear from Amazon, and I believe that's going to be tomorrow, right, everybody? Amazon is reporting earnings tomorrow. We'll probably have very strong numbers for Amazon AWS. Brad's Brains is Tom. Peter Thiel sold Palantir in a planned divestiture. Carp did sell at 45, and there has been insider selling. Definitely concerning. Monday will tell a lot. We'll cover it. Anthony Torres, cheers. The Mighty Bull is here. Thanks so much. Reggie 44 says predict Fed will pause rate cuts. Now, you know what I didn't have time to look into today? I was just so busy. I think Brad briefly brought this up. We did get GDP numbers out. Oh, that guy almost got killed, man. See, these food delivery bike guys are like insane. They go way too fast. They run lights. Oh, man, that was very, very close. I think I told you, but I've seen multiple head-on collision accidents with these food delivery bike guys this year. Because many of them go the wrong way in a bike lane. And it's like they're kamikaze into each other. It's terrible. Anyway, now we got GDP numbers out today, right? I had no time to even see what the numbers were. So does anybody mind, putting in the chat what we got today for GDP numbers? Booker T says unless there's a bike lane, it should be illegal to ride your bike in the street. Well, I mean, most people do ride their bike in the street. Ride their bike in the bike lane. It's just them blowing the red lights is the problem. So Brad's Brain says GDP missed at 2.8%. I'm going to be very interested in the next ISM report. I think it's going to tell a lot about where we are headed. NBA Elias is 2.8% GDP. Well, we'll see, right? Because if we remember correctly, and this is very important to keep in mind, the last GDP report that we got was revised higher. Not to be the eternal optimist here, but the last GDP number we got was revised higher to 3% annually. So we'll see. Peters is 5-6, Yankees at the top of the 7th. Oh, that's right. The World Series is going on right now. Hopefully the Yankees win. JQ says it should be illegal to ride your bike on the sidewalk. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it is illegal to ride your bike on the sidewalk, but that doesn't mean it'll stop people from doing it. That lady just abandoned all of her balloons. Man, if the Yankees win tonight, the city is going to be crazy. Brad's Brain says, anecdotally, business has slowed for me here. I'm hoping it's election related. Wow. Now, Brad, if you could expand on that a little bit. When you mean business has slowed, is there like a specific, like are customers canceling orders, or is there a decrease in service calls, or like what is it specifically like that you've been hearing from your customers? In the real estate sales business, right, a little bit anecdotally here, if you're not selling, I would say, luxury high-end real estate, virtually almost no deals are being done, right? If you look at the National Association of Realtors existing home sales report, virtually no deals are being done. This is the lowest transaction volume since the 2008 financial crisis. And we've talked about, multiple reasons why that is, right? Pricing really hasn't come down all that much, and interest rates are extremely high. I think we just set a new high for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage above 7%, which, mind you, when the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 50 basis points, everyone was all happy and all giddy that interest rates were going to come down and this is going to be fantastic. But interest rates are higher right now than before the rate cut. So conditions are tighter right now than before the rate cut. It's kind of crazy. Brad's Brain says backlogs are smaller than 6 to 12 months. Service seems to be maintaining, but new construction and aftermarket sales are down. Backlog is most concerning to me. That's interesting that you make a comment on that, because did anybody see D.R. Horton or the price action in D.R. Horton and a lot of home builders? Well, a lot of those stocks seem to have topped. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that. And home builders used to be one of the leading sectors in the market. And maybe that's a little bit of a forecast for what's to come. Perhaps the housing market will start to soften a little bit and, pricing will come down, which I think would be good for transaction volume, right? If prices really do start to accelerate to the downside in home prices, I actually think that that's good, right? Because if interest rates are going to maintain, a 30-year fixed at 7%, there's just no way that there's going to be deals getting done at these prices. And it shows in the data. It's not just my opinion. There are virtually no deals getting done. So maybe this is a little bit of a forecast of what's to come. Who knows? Alexander says excessive government spending in the long term is to blame. Mortgage rates follow the long-term treasury yield or the 10-year treasury. That's correct. It's a really good point, Alexander. And the yield on the 10-year treasury is, I think, 5.25%. I mean, the bond market has been getting slammed over the last 2 weeks. We've had a massive sell-off in the debt market, right? Obviously, there's an inverse correlation in the debt market, right? As prices decline, yields skyrocket, and vice versa. So we'll see what's to come. Should be interesting nonetheless. In any event, if you guys are enjoying the live stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these streams every single night starting at 8:45. Look, this car is honking his horn. It's like, pal, don't you see the garbage truck sitting in the middle of the road? And the guy's emptying his garbage, and you're honking the horn at him? Isn't it quite obvious he has to put the garbage away first before he moves? I think that's just like very obvious.
Hello, excuse me. Hello.
Yeah, Larry Adams,
Hello.
Crazy, right?
Hello.
Says you must be versatile and have multiple streams of income. Agreed. I think it's very good to build multiple income streams, frankly put. That's the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Hey, Antonio, good to see you. Stephen Bate, what's up? M Minor says, how late do I work? It really depends on the day. But I think at the point in life where I'm at now, I really don't view work as work. I just view it as my daily activity. So consider it work. I mean, I don't think it's work, it's enjoyable. I like talking to all of you. I meet a lot of cool people. I think we have a really good group here. And it's fun. That's the most important thing about it. I think we all learn a lot. I learn a lot, make a lot of connections. But if you count the live stream, the broadcast as work, it's quite literally around the clock. So, but I'll say this, I'm a lot less stressed now than I was when I was just starting out in my career in tech and telecom sales. Because it's a different type of work, right? When you're trying to be in the industry and kind of prove yourself. But now I'm very fortunate. I've been very blessed to kind of have not like a safety net, but a very big book of business where every time I do either some sort of activity, make a phone call, or send out a newsletter, or get in contact with old clients and ask for referrals, generally speaking, I get some sort of business out of it. But that's what happens if you're in sales for over a decade, right? If you can make it and stick it out and do the grind, be there, right? Not just be there when the market's great and things are selling like hotcakes, but be there all the time, right? Over long periods, long swaths of time, duration, people are going to be willing to help you out. It's kind of like Metcalfe's law, right? Like network effects. The more people you know, the more connected people you know, and if you have a good reputation, if you just ask people, hey, it's a pretty slow month, do you know anybody I could do business with? Are you looking to add licenses of this, or are you looking to buy anything? Are you looking to rent anything? People will throw you business. They'll throw you a bone, so to speak. And that's what's kind of been making. And in the chat, I think Alan works in the automotive business. I mean, what are you kind of seeing? This is always a dead zone. Doing work. Oh, why is this getting better? Hey, Ipedia, what's up? Thank you for joining. Cheers. Okay, we're back now. That's good. What's the score of the Yankee game, out of curiosity? I'm assuming the game is just about to end. "6-5 Yankees. Very nice. RB says, Tom, do I still skate? Not as much as I used to. Yeah, not as much as I used to, unfortunately. I would say as I've gotten older, my tolerance for risk has declined. I just don't want to have a major accident and then get injured. I mean, back in the day, I was pretty reckless on the board. Not gonna lie, in the city. But when you're in your early 20s, I mean, my God, when I go back, I think to myself, I'm like, yeah, probably shouldn't have done that. Yeah, probably not the best idea. You could see One World Trade Center in the distance. Off your Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is off. I think it's just something in the city today. They've been doing a lot of construction, or I think there's just more people in Manhattan. But yeah, the internet, which I'm not super sure why. Someone says, what are your thoughts on Trump stock, DJT, over the next few days? To be quite honest, I don't even follow the company. I don't even have it on my watch list. It's not on my radar. I couldn't even tell you where it's trading at, to be frank. And it's just because the company doesn't have any earnings. When it first went public, I looked at the financials and I'm like, this doesn't make any money. There's too much good merchandise on the market to be paying attention to. So I haven't even looked at it. I mean, where is it trading at? This is Radio City Music Hall. Reggie44 says DJT way down. It's a meme stock. Well, I just don't even know if it's a real company. I mean, does anybody here use Truth Social, the platform? I don't know one person that uses it. I mean, everybody I know uses X. I mean, I think it's very, very difficult to compete with the X platform. I don't think anybody is going to be able to compete with X. Rocket Mob says DJT is down 27% in 2 days. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if the company doesn't make money and I don't believe in the company, the way I think about it is I don't want to allocate any time to it because there's only a certain amount of hours in the day. And I don't even think any institutions use it. Alan says, I have a Truth Social account, but I've never used it. I think that's a good question for the audience. And you can be honest, who cares? Who here has a Truth Social account and uses it regularly? I mean, I don't even have an account. I don't think I've ever been on the website. Yeah, Alan says X is the gold standard. I totally agree. It's going to be impossible. You know, obviously Meta and X are the top two, and it's going to be impossible to compete. Dan says nope. The Forlorn Wanderer says nope. Alexander M says just X. I can see what people on Truth post there. So almost everyone says no. Hood Patriots is Rumble next in line. NBA Elias says don't have an account. Yeah, so pretty much nobody. So Rocket Mobs is Trump Media and Tech Group, so it may be more than just Truth Social. Yeah, I really have no idea. It's just like that's the way I think about the investment business, right? There's so many different stocks, and you could choose anything you want to pay attention to, and there's so many great companies that churn out massive numbers in earnings. Like two companies we just talked about today, right? Meta reporting net income up 35%, $15 billion. Microsoft, $24 billion in profits. So I don't really want to focus on Truth Social or DJT, so to speak. All right, let's see what we got going on over here. Here we are at the Rockefeller Center. And the ice skating rink looks awesome tonight, honestly. It looks great. This is a pretty cool view. Right on top of the rink here. You see the Zamboni going around. I'm pretty excited for the holiday season, I'm not gonna lie. Father Josh says, Tom, I understand why Truth Social was created, but at this point he can go back to X. There's no point. I totally agree. Totally agree with you. Josh says, isn't everybody watching the Yankee game? Yes. Everyone I talked to today is either going to the Yankee game or watching it, except me. Guys, speaking of Rockefeller Center, this is the spot where the Christmas tree is going to go. And I think the Rockefeller Center tree is going to arrive on November 9th, which is very, very cool. So we'll try to get some footage and some, maybe we'll stream when the Christmas tree comes. RB says, and with Elon supporting Trump, you are right. Well, I think that's why, and look, you guys know I lean conservative, and there's some people saying, oh, you got to buy DJT stock to support Trump. No shot, okay? No shot. The problem is, it was such a blunder for Trump to get involved in this. That's my view. That's my take, because I don't know. I think they were banking on all of his supporters to go to a platform, but that's not how business works. Okay, people want a platform that's easy to use, that's good, and it's really hard to get people to convert. And when you have a person like Elon Musk that now owns one of the largest social media platforms, that's definitely not something you want to be competing with. Okay, let me just say that. So, think about it like this, okay? You have Meta. The CEO is Mark Zuckerberg. And then you have X. The CEO is Elon Musk. That's not an environment that I want to compete in, okay? And these are two of the smartest people on planet Earth, right? Whether you like them or not. You could hate Zuckerberg, you could hate Musk. I totally respect that opinion. I don't agree with that opinion, but I totally respect it. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but those are not two people you want to compete with, okay? Certainly not Musk. Here we are outside of the one and only Saks Fifth Avenue. Looks amazing tonight with the American flags. Joe B says, can we please keep billionaires out of our politics? There has to be a limit. Why should I donate $200 when these guys are putting billions in the political arena? Well, I think you should probably change the way the donor system works, which you're right, it is dominated by like super PACs and all that, but we know politicians are bought and paid for, and that's what the problem is with lobbying. Paris, is anyone buying election contracts on Robinhood? You know, I'm not, but that's kind of cool that Robinhood is, you know, allowing their customers to bet on the election. It's pretty cool. Reggie44 says SMCI will be a bargain buy at some point. I mean, I don't know. When you have EY issue a statement saying that they no longer want to be associated with the company, I don't know if that's something I'd want to get involved with, but Ben says, I'm on the board of numerous companies and corporations globally, all through my real estate trust. I just do appointed proxy for all of them. Ben, send me an email if you want. I have a few deals that I'd like to get your opinion on. Ike Voorhees, I appreciate you. Thanks for your kind words. Here you can see the very top of the One Vanderbilt. Well, like I said, if you go to my X page, you follow @WalksWallStreet on X, all the way back in July, right, SMCI went through a massive blow-off top, and you could clearly see in the tape that this thing was being distributed by all of the major institutions. Right? If you looked at institutional selling, they were selling the hell out of that stock. And like we say, oftentimes you could use the price of the stock as a leading economic indicator itself. And it looks like all of the bigwigs on Wall Street knew something was happening with SMCI. Bill says Josh on CNBC described SMCI as a Sopranos sounding firm. Are you talking about Josh Brown? I think Josh Brown just came out with a new book, didn't he? I got to go buy that. I haven't read it yet. At least I think it was him that came out with the new book. Hey, Prince Ice, thank you so much for joining us. NBA Elias says SMCI has Silicon Valley Bank written all over it. My biggest concern with the whole SMCI thing, as we talked about earlier, is that they're NVIDIA's fourth largest customer. So if something is really, really shady there, that could be the, the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. But, talking about Meta, they had a really good quarter, and they beat on both the top and the bottom line. They made a bunch of money. But Wall Street was kind of pissed off when Mark Zuckerberg said, look, we're going to significantly increase our spending for AI and infrastructure over the next year. Oh my gosh, they're putting up the Christmas lights already. So that is generally very bullish news for a lot of these semiconductor companies, because the outlook is that there's going to be more spending, which means more sales and more profits for chip companies. TD, good to see you. Cheers to you. Oh, and they're putting up the Christmas lights on the Cartier store too. I wonder what their design is going to be this year. Wow. Oh, Wise Alice says the score is 6-6. I kind of really want to watch the Yankee game, to be honest. When's the last time the Yankees were in the World Series? I know, Joe B says, wake me up after the election. I'm freaking out. I think regardless if you're a Democrat or Republican, the one thing we could all agree on is I'm totally shot from all of the election talk. I'm so sick of the propaganda. I mean, and we knew it was going to be bad. We knew the propaganda was going to be so in our face, but it's like taxing. It's like mind-numbing now from both sides, right? Just the sheer propaganda of everything, picking apart every little thing someone says. It's like crazy. You know, first it's this nonsense. That's what politics it is, right? It's nonsense on both sides. You know, the craziest thing as of late, right, is everyone freaking out and just like having a panic attack and crying their eyes out over some comedian that performed at Madison Square Garden and said a joke about Puerto Rico being an island of trash. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, Trump and the Trump supporters think that all Puerto Ricans are trash and they hate them. It's like, it's obviously not, dude. It's obviously not. Like, come on. Like, it's ridiculous. It's obvious. This guy's a comedian. He makes jokes about everybody. And the comedian, and I didn't really know who he was until this event, but I did some research into the guy, this guy, Anthony Hinchcliffe, or Tony Hinchcliffe. And that's what his comedy is. He roasts people. Everybody. Like, that's like what his comedy shows are, I guess. Like, he picks people and then he just roasts them in the most vulgar ways. You know, it's just so taxing, and anybody with, you know, an inkling of a brain could know that it's just absolute nonsense, right? Here's the Coach store. Paul says Don Ricketts used to do that. I'm not too sure who that is. I'll have to look him up. Wow, so the Yankees are losing now. Ah, damn. That sucks. So if the Dodgers win tonight, they win the World Series. Is that correct? So if the Dodgers win tonight, they win the World Series, but they win the World Series at Yankee Stadium? Oh, that sucks. That's no fun. If you're the Dodgers, you want to win the World Series at home. You don't want to win it freaking in the South Bronx in Yankee Stadium. That sucks. So for the sake of the Dodgers, I hope they lose tonight. Let's just say that. Obviously, I want the Yankees to win because I want the Yankees to win the World Series. But that sucks. You want to win the World Series at home. Kenny says, I got the game on now in the background. 7-6 Dodgers, now top of the 8th. So what does that mean? How many more at-bats do the Yankees have now? 2 more at-bats to try to win it, right? Oh, Kenny says it rarely ends up winning at home. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm like out of the sports loop, but doesn't it seem like there's no hype and there's no excitement for the World Series? I mean, even though the New York Yankees, right, are in the World Series, nobody's talking about it. Or maybe is it just because of the people I hang out with? But I mean, I'm in Manhattan every single day, and not like there was a few people in the office, right, that mentioned it and that said they're going to go to the World Series. There were people in the office that says, hey, I'm going to go to the World Series today. But, like, I don't really feel the energy. It's like nobody really cares anymore. Maybe it's because baseball is not that popular. I don't know. Or maybe it's just me. NBA Elias says, I think the election is taking up most of the time. Or, yeah, the election, for sure. Bill says everyone stopped watching baseball in 1962. Very specific. This is the LVMH building. Here's Trump Tower. Well, I think I'll end it early tonight because, to be honest, I kind of want to watch the rest of the game, and I'm going to turn it on in the office. Just because, look, the Yankees are never in the World Series, and maybe we'll watch something exciting at the end. So I'm going to run into the office. Hopefully you guys understand. I will see you tomorrow for our Halloween stream. We will be live at 8:45. But until then, if you want to subscribe to our free investment newsletter, you could type !news, NEWS, in the chat, and we will send out our newsletter tomorrow right at the market close. So Chinook wins, thank you so much. Jake from Florida, Hang with Mark Mom, Austin City Limits, RB, Peter, Professor Dario, thanks everybody. Ben, appreciate it. Have a wonderful night. God bless. Cheers.